Hello again, you guys. This is John back here with you. I'm just gonna talk about this movie that I just literally saw today that I just felt the need to talk about. It's called Local Hero. It's from 1983. Who's in it? Burt Lancaster, Peter Reigert, Fulton McKay, what's his name? Peter Capaldi's in this as well. Great cast all around. I really love every actor in this film. It's got a fairly positive reception, majority positive reception, 7.3 out of 10. IMDb here on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got 100%, 87 audience score. My boy Roger Ebert, God rest his soul, he gave this 4 out of 4, and I couldn't agree with him more. This is one of the, I'm tempted to say this is one of the best movies I've ever seen, you guys. I really, I can't stress this enough. This is a, for once, Rotten Tomatoes actually has got it right here. It says it's a charmingly low-key character study brought to life by a tremendously talented cast. Local Hero is as humorous as it is heartwarming, and I absolutely agree with that. What makes the movie is the cast, and especially the script here. The characters are so well written. The comedic scenes stem from the characters themselves. There's this ongoing gag involving this therapist character that I won't spoil. I don't want to spoil too much about this movie because I had literally just seen it. I'll be seeing it again at some point because I just really love this movie, and I of course wanted to mention it to you guys. The cinematography in this movie is gorgeous. It took me about a half hour to realize, but once they get to this this sort of island they're on here, because it's a Scottish comedy set in the fictional town of Furness on the west coast of Scotland. Yeah, I guess it's a Criterion Collection as well, or a stage. Okay, yeah, I got a Criterion Collection DVD and Blu-ray release in September, and rightfully so. I mean, I've seen a few Criterion Collection movies, a couple of which I'm like, why is this on here? But this one I can wholeheartedly understand. This got a 1984 BAFTA Award for Best Direction. Everybody involved in this production should be proud of themselves. Bill Forsyth wrote the script, directed this movie, did a wonderful job. I'm not particularly familiar with him as a filmmaker, but let's see if I've seen any of his other movies. Breaking In, that sounds familiar, and Being Human, though those are two movies, but I don't think I've seen them. They just happen to sound familiar to me. The last movie he did was in 1999, Gregory's Two Girls. Okay, I guess he's still alive. He's probably just retired or something like that, who knows. But I can tell that this is definitely a director who is very talented. He's worked with some talented people on this 1994 movie, Being Human. Wow, now I want to see this. Comedy, drama, Robin Williams, John Turturro, Bill Nighy, Vincent D'Onofrio, Robert Carlyle, Teresa Russell. Yeah, that's a great cast right there. It's headlined by Williams. Yeah, I'll probably be seeing this movie in a heartbeat. Yeah, this looks good, and yeah, already on just seeing this movie, I'm a big fan. I just watched Mark Kermode's review for this movie, this Steve Carell, Rose Byrne movie that just came out. It's called, it's directed by, probably written by Jon Stewart as well. It's called Irresistible, if I recall. It's sort of getting middling reviews on Rotten Tomatoes from what I've gathered here, but, you know, I'd be fascinated to hear or to see that movie because Kermode related it to this Local Hero movie, and I'm a big fan of this movie. So, you know, I'd be curious to see anything. And I like Steve Carell as well. But let's talk about Local Hero for a bit longer. I don't want to make this video too long because I made the last review I did for Repeaters 50 minutes, where most of it, at the end especially, I'm just ranting and profanity-laced raving about Hollywood and its shady tactics. So let's keep this as PG as we possibly can, because this movie it's very charming. It's very restrained. It's rated PG, which is really great, because like for a second there I thought it was R rated, because there is some language here and there. It says PG for adult situations language. There's some drinking in this movie, bits and little bits of profanity here. Honestly, last night I started watching this like really late. Actually, not even that late. Usually I've been staying up for quite some time lately, whether it be playing video games, watching movies or TV shows, stuff like that. But last night I tried watching this, and the first half hour, I was supremely entertained by this movie. Let me just get that out of the way. But I ended up falling asleep, just because this movie, it's like a warm blanket, like you watch this movie and you really get engulfed in these likable characters, because there's not one character who's drawn as a villain. It's not one of those good versus bad films, and I honestly thought it was with the setup here. I'll read the synopsis I'm looking at here on Rotten Tomatoes. This film stars Burt Lancaster as Texas oil baron Felix Happer, who sends employee McIntyre, who is played by Peter Reigert. I recognize this guy. This guy's actually the reason why I wanted to see this film, because he's in The Mask. He plays the cop who's trying to bust Jim Carrey's character, and out him as the Mask, and he's cat and mouse chasing him throughout the movie. He's wonderful in this, along with Burt Lancaster, and so McIntyre as an emissary to a Scottish fishing village to negotiate for the rights of the town's oil reserves. Surprisingly, the Scots are more than anxious to sell, and McIntyre's trip becomes progressively stranger. Not in I don't think it's strange in the sense that you would think. I mean, it's more so just small town antics, but there's essentially no conflict to this film. And every time there's this conflict presented, these characters actually sit down and talk about it, which I really appreciate. And that's really that's the crux and why I wanted to recommend this film. The characters, the way they interact in this. I haven't seen a film quite like this in some time, where I felt like I was not only a fly on the wall, but I felt like these characters were very relatable, very likable, very well performed. I'm surprised I hadn't heard of this movie before. Literally, I just sometimes I like scanning through Rotten Tomatoes and some of their lists. I know a lot of people have problems with the lists they do and the critical to audience scores and what have you, but I feel like some of their lists, they do a good job in opening my eyes, at least, to some movies that I haven't seen, and this is one of them. This is a movie I'm happy I got a chance to see in my lifetime. I hope to see more movies of this caliber. And yeah, just overall deeply impressed with this movie. It's it's not one of those tearjerker type movies. It's not one of those laugh every 30-second type movies, but every time this movie tells a joke, especially the stuff involving this therapist, that was the stuff that really had me cracking up. It reminded me of like a sort of Zucker Brothers type of parody of this therapist character, and he's very well acted by Norman Chancer, who I've seen in other, whether TV shows or movies before, but he's very, as this guy called Moritz or whatnot. He's like this therapist character to Felix in the movie, and what a great cast overall. What a beautiful location they filmed at. Now I want to see where exactly they filmed this, because the cinematography in this is beautiful. Yeah, and like I'm just genuinely amazed with how likable every character is, with how wonderful this soundtrack is, like, especially the last song that plays in this movie. It's some instrumental, and it's amazing. I listened all the way through it during the end credits. I was just completely blown away by the score. It's not telling me where they filmed this. Jeez Louise, IMDb. Maybe I need one of those pro accounts or something. I presume they filmed this in Scotland because that's the primary location of this. I presume it's a fictional town, as Wikipedia has told me here. But of course, we've been hoodwinked by Wikipedia before. So yeah, I don't got much else to say about this movie, really. I mean, I just wanted to make this video rather quick as to encapsulate how thoroughly impressed I was by this movie, and how I'm now looking forward to seeing Being Human from 1994 with Robin Williams. I've not seen nor heard of that movie before. I'm not sure of what its reception is. Okay, it holds a 50% review rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with Entertainment Weekly giving it an F. Wow. Well, I don't care what Owen from Entertainment Weekly has to say. If Roger Ebert gave it like a 0 out of 4, I would be a little more inclined to believe that. And this has a budget of $40 million. Wow. So, it's I don't want to read the plot here on Wikipedia because it's going to spoil the movie for me. Yeah, so let's not look at that because I actually want to see this movie now. So anyhow, Local Hero, check it out, 1983. I don't think it's on Netflix, unfortunately, or anything like that. So do what you can. Watch this movie. I'd highly recommend it. 82% on 82 Metascore, 7.3 out of 10 IMDb. I mean, you can't go wrong with stats like that. That's a favorable movie. And if you're looking for a movie that just, has the capacity to just make you feel happy and warm, and just where there's not like this outright villain, it's refreshing to finally see a movie where there's not like this typical villainous character who's trying to thwart the protagonist's plot or what have you. I mean, it's just a straightforward movie that just is a character study about this beautiful location and about the people that inhabit that world. And I think it's a magnificent film, and everybody involved, from the cast to the crew, should be really proud of what they've accomplished here. This is a marvelous movie. It's on the Criterion Collection for a reason. I'd highly recommend Local Hero. You guys definitely watch this movie. I was genuinely happy I got to see this movie. Anyhow, you guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Take care, everybody.